All right, guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to hit a 456-yard drive and really what are the 4 ways to hit your driver farther. All right, guys, so let's talk about how to hit your driver farther. Now, in a minute or two, I'm going to bring in my buddy Scott Kalamar, hits the ball as far as only a select few people in the world can do, and has hit a 456-yard drive in competition. We're going to get his thoughts on how to hit your driver farther. What I want you to know before we get into that and before we get into the mechanics of how to hit your driver farther, there are 4 main things you have to look at, and I want you to know these ahead of time going in so you can game plan for what you want to improve. Now, we're lucky enough to have a TrackMan here. You might not have that, but the things we can measure. What are the 4 things that would make your driver go farther, things you can do? Number 1 and the most important thing is club head speed. Okay, so swinging the club faster, you would hit the ball farther, have potential to hit the ball farther than if you swung the club slower. So if you walk in and say, hey, Eric, I want to hit my driver farther, what should I be focusing on? The first thing I would do would say, can you or can we do something to hit your driver farther with club head speed going up? That's part number 1. The second thing, and closely right behind that, is angle of attack. When we watch Scott's angle of attack in the long drive, guys, oftentimes they're 5, 6, 7, 8 degrees up on the ball, whereas a lot of you guys will be hitting too far down on the ball. So angle of attack, whether you hit up or down, will have a big influence. The basic thing is the more you hit up on it, the farther the ball will go. So that would be number 2. The third part would be centerdness of contact, right? There's another thing, but you have to say it, is the more you hit the ball towards the middle of the face, the farther it can go. And the more you hit it towards the heel or to the toe, and especially low on the face, the shorter it's going to go. Some of the clubs are designed where you hit them a little higher, a little towards the toe, and go farther. But to keep it simple, centerdness of contact is number 3. The more you hit it in the middle of the face, the farther it's going to go. And then number 4 on the list is what I would consider launch conditions, which is your launch angle and your spin rate. And there's some things out there. TrackMan has charts that can go through that. That's very individual, so I'm not going to get into the math of that. But that would be the 4th thing. And that's it, guys. Those are the 4 things that you have to focus on if you want to hit the ball farther, would be swinging the club faster, having your angle of attack more up, hitting the ball more in the middle of the club face, and then checking your launch conditions. I would always recommend getting a club fitting if you can and get with a fitter. Equipment, shaft, club head, loft, those are all huge deals, but those are the things that I would focus on. In a minute, I'm going to bring Scott in. We're going to talk about his journey on the long drive, what he's done with his mechanics, the things he focuses on. And then at the end, we're going to introduce you to a thing called super speed. It's what I use. It's what Scott uses to increase club head speed. It's what you guys can use to hit that number 1 club head speed and get that thing faster. All right, guys, so I'm here with Scott Kalamar. I want to talk to you guys about hitting the driver farther. Now, I know Scott from a while back. We used to play golf against each other when he was not quite this big. He didn't hit the ball 400 plus yards, but he's one of the longest drivers in the world. We thought it'd be awesome to have him out here today and talk to you guys a little bit about what he's done, especially behind the scenes, partially with his mechanics and the training that goes into hitting the ball farther, because he used to always hit it far, but not to the level that he does now, obviously. So, Scott, talk to me a little bit about the things you've done with your swing first, kind of mechanically to help you, and then the things you do behind the scenes, the gym, the training, all that kind of stuff.
So, yeah, back when I played in high school, I had more of a mechanical golf swing, and then I got into professional baseball, put away the sticks for about 8 years. So I got back into swinging, and I always knew I could swing hard, but I had a lot of issues in my swing where it created, and especially with the long drive clubs we have, it created a lot of huge disbursement where I couldn't even find the grid. So I was really short with my arms. I didn't create a lot of width, and I could start my club head from anywhere I wanted to. And then when adrenaline kicked in and I tried to kick in the speed, my hips would be going, and I would start from a different spot every time. So I really worked on the 2 biggest things is creating width. Like if you ever watch Rory McIlroy swing, and he's the same size as me, I'm a little more weight on him, but I'm only 5'10". He creates a lot of width. All the guys do that hit it far. They create a lot of width away from their body and not getting off the ball. That was a big thing that I used to do too, because baseball I would kind of load like that. But with golf, everything, I need to keep my head and getting vertical. But the big thing I did was to create a stiff arm as much as I could to start from the same spot every time. Obviously, I'm a little bit past parallel. Every guy in long drive is past parallel. It just creates separation a little bit more, and that's what you're talking about. Clubhead speed, the separation is so big. Same with baseball. Like, separation is so big to create that lag.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things that we talked about with your mechanics changing and just like what your old swing used to be compared to the new. And something that we talk about a lot with the distance is during the backswing, you've got an option with your body. If you take just kind of a fake setup here, Scott, for a second, you've got an option with your body motion. Do the old, just slow, like an old you where you bend over too far this way. So you've got an option to be more bent over, forward flexed here, bent this way. And we would loosely correlate that with hitting the ball short. This looks like a 70, not him with his muscles, but that being bent over looks like the guy that hits it 150 yards in nowhere. He's 70 years old, never missed a fairway, but the ball doesn't go anywhere, right? So we've talked about that. Staying forward flex, keeping your chest down to the ground in the backswing is a recipe for short distance. We want to hit the ball far. So instead of that, your feeling to the top was much more up, right? Much more centered and much more up to the top.
Believe it or not, in competition, I would swing like that. My old swing was horrible.
Yeah.
So now I fixed it in creating width, not getting off the ball, but creating a lot of
up and wide
vertical motion as opposed to getting away from it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's been tremendous difference.
And that's something you see if you watch the long drive guys, and a lot of them, the upward motion. We've talked about that in their effortless speed videos and other ones where if you're going to go anywhere during the backswing, going up and staying more centered and adding some extension of your spine is a speed producer in golf, just like any other sports. So that's a big backswing motion. Obviously, Scott is super athletic. He played baseball. He knows how to generate speed. But a lot of the work, too, comes in the gym, right? Absolutely. So there's a lot that goes on just beyond the normal athletic background. So speak a little bit to just like a normal gym routine. How often are you working out? What are some of the things you're doing? Explosive stuff.
So I train at Core XL with Zach Fuller. He trains a lot of professional athletes, but I do a lot of ground force things. So everything's created with my legs. So to create that separation, to create the pop, to create the club head speed is all through my legs.
Yeah.
Obviously the hand speed is what super speed really teaches you, but the leg strength, I got my squat max over 500 pounds. I do a lot of heavy squat and also moving things fast. So I'll get under the bar and put only 185 on with bands and try and just move it as hard as I can and fast as I can to create my body to move fast. And the same with super speed, they always harp on it. The faster you move your body, the faster you train your body to move, the faster it naturally comes. So same thing in the gym. I always do a lot of sprints. Obviously, there's heavy stuff involved to gain strength, but a lot of it is speed because what are we trying to create?
Exactly.
Trying to create speed. That's basically it.
That's huge. And a couple of things that he said there that I want to hit on. Number one, I don't know if a lot of you quite understand what 500 pounds on a bar, I don't know what that's like because I never even came close to that, but that's like ridiculous. But the second thing that I want to really hit on is the speed movement. Some of you guys ask me all the time, what should I do to swing faster? And while the mechanics are important and we're talking about those, you need to train your body to move faster so that you can swing faster and be strong enough in areas that can support that movement. And so the gym routine he does, I don't expect you guys to do that, but understanding, meaning I don't expect you to do it at that same scale, but some of the same movements and understanding that flexibility and the stretch, and you guys like to get in, and that's cool too, but you gotta move some weight sometimes and you have to get explosive. And if you do that in an athletic setting like at Core XL with Zach, that transfers to golf super, super well. So those are really the two main things that I wanted him to hit on while he was here was some of the mechanical pieces that he focused on. And this is not a theory thing, right? He's out there, he hits the ball that far. 450 yards is just stupid how far that is. And you put up, what's your club head speed in 140, 45, 50?
145 to 150 if I really get after it. And then ball speed's 212 to 220. So it's
super fast.
Yeah.
And so the video, we're kind of being funny about the 450-yard drive for you guys, but the thing is, regardless of how you hit it, can we do things in there where you can hit it an extra 10 yards, an extra 20 or 30 or whatever, and you just enjoy the game more? The answer is absolutely you can. Those four things in the beginning we talked about, whatever you're training should be based around one of those four. And in my opinion, I don't know what you think about it, but I would go in that order. I would go speed first, then angle of attack, then centeredness, and then the launch conditions. For someone like him, whose speed is really high and his angle of attack's up, he needs to probably look more at centeredness of contact and launch conditions, but you got to get number one 1 and number 2 until you get to that spot. So he's going to hit a couple. He's been kind enough to come and hang out. He's going to hit a couple for us. We're going to kind of see what his swing looks like at a couple spots, pick his brain a little bit more, and hopefully you guys can focus on some of those things and help you guys hit the ball farther. And then at the end, we're going to do some super speed stuff too. So we'll tell you what we do with those and show you guys us using those. Jesus mighty. That's 399.4. There she is. Woo-wee! 411.9. Look at that right there. Oof. Scott, that is good. Yeah, that's so good. That is, never seen someone do that better than that. Your transition move is perfect, dude. So good through the ball. This is like golden. That might be like a viral video in and of itself.
I've never seen that view before.
You make Dustin Johnson look like a child on here. That lower body motion is as good as anyone I've ever seen ever, even on video, dude. Yeah, that's sick. I think that's good, dude. That's good, dude. All right, guys, so let's talk a little bit about the super speed set. Now, this is something that I used to use. I just recently started using again, and Scott and I were talking about him using it for his training as well and the difference it made. And like all the other products we talk about on here, I would not suggest you guys use these unless I genuinely think they are gonna help you. What I found with the super speed set is they help you with that number 1 factor, which is clubhead speed. Before we talk to Scott about how he uses them, when you get these, they're gonna be delivered in a box and they're color coded. So you get, the one that I have is a light, a medium, and a heavy club that you would swing here, and there's weights on the end of them, they're color coded. When I do it about 3 times per week. It literally takes me like 10 minutes from the time I pick them up until I'm finished with the routine I do. Scott might be a little bit more in depth, but for me, it takes about 10 minutes 3 times a week. And if you guys did this, it is not more complicated than that, right? It just takes the discipline of getting these things out a couple times a week, going through and doing them. And for me, I really found that they work really well if I go full out 100. Not my like, I'm kind of going close to 100. When I really swing them as fast as I can, and you get a little sheet in the box that runs you through the protocol, it's super simple. I find that they work really good for me. So just talk a little bit about, obviously you have the long drive set, right?
So I have the long drive set. They're a little bit longer and a little bit stiffer shafts. But this is the first year I really trained with them, and I absolutely love them.
Yeah.
One, really good point, I try and rip these things as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And I can't do them 3 times a week because it's a lot of stress on my body. So I usually do it maybe 2. But if I'm trying to literally roast these things as hard as I can, which obviously, you know, you're trying to train speed to your body. That's what I'm trying to do. So the knee one, and then you get into regular stance, and then you get into the kind of leg kick one. Yeah. It'll show you everything how to do it. But I absolutely love them. I've been doing it for about 3 months now. But the biggest thing that has shown me, and I use this this radar too. It's just a little mini thing that Super Speed really likes too, is it's the only tracker that actually tracks without using a golf ball. You don't have to actually hit a golf ball. So
it's huge.
The big thing that I've made this year is swing changes and getting vertical and creating width. And I think the most that's helped me is swinging these things, and if I do it mechanically correct, I should get a really high number there, and I do. If I do it wrong, where I didn't even feel I did it wrong, the number comes back, it's usually like 10 miles per hour slower or something crappy that I don't want to see.
That's crazy.
So these have really helped me not only create speed, but it also has really helped mechanically. And the thing I really suggest is really dedicate yourself to them. If you do dedicate yourself to them, you can see testimonials all around the world.
Exactly.
Everybody has increased speed. If you dedicate yourself and really rip these things, it definitely help you.
And I think 2 points with it. One is like, it takes work, right? It's not an overnight thing, right? You gotta use them, but if you use them right, it works. And then it kind of goes back to the same thing in my mind, and even spending time around Zach at Core XL and training athletes is you have to training your body to swing these as fast as you can. To me is like the end goal, training your body to be able to move faster and be more explosive, right? To me, it just comes back to those same couple things.
Exactly, and also the thing I noticed too is same with my sprint form. When I was really sprinting for baseball, I felt like I was doing something fast because my turnover is really quick, but I was really slow on the clock.
Yeah.
And when Zach Fuller, my trainer, actually taught me how to sprint, I had more distance in between steps. It felt slower, but my numbers were faster. Same thing with super speed.
Yeah.
I went back to my old ways. I felt like I was ripping the heck out of these things, and my number came back, it was slow. And then I would actually do my mechanics correctly. It felt slower in my brain, but I was way faster on the radar. It's like, wow, this is actually real.
Exactly. And and some of you guys have experienced that, I'm sure, of when you try and swing faster, you don't always necessarily produce more speed. The goal is not for more effort, right, to try and swing faster. That's not the goal. The goal is at the end of the day, you have more speed with it. That might actually not feel like you're going as fast as per normal. We're gonna put the link in the description down below if you guys wanna grab these super speed sets. And listen, you have to work them. I don't want you to pay the money and buy these if you're not gonna do it. If you don't have 10 minutes twice a week, he can't hang out with the big boys 3 times a week, but twice a week to do it, then don't get them. But if you do wanna get more speed and you've tried other things that haven't worked, then pay the money, get the sticks, do it for a couple weeks, couple months. You're gonna see a difference when you go play. So we'll put that in there. That's gonna wrap it up, guys, for the long drive. Scott, I really do appreciate you coming out. This was fun, man.
Thanks. It was great to have me.
I hope that you guys learned some things from him. Obviously, he hits it ridiculously far, but there's a couple things in there that you guys can gather, hit a little bit farther when you go play. So I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions for myself or Scott, leave a comment down below and I'll get back to you. Hey guys, thanks for watching the video. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor, click the like button down below, click the notification bell, and also please subscribe if you haven't. If you guys do want more instruction from me tailored for you, check out CogornoGolf.com. The link is in the description down below. Thank you guys.